Have you ever felt like your family is being pulled apart by the challenges of ADHD? You're not alone. I remember sitting on the edge of our bed, feeling this vast distance between my husband and me, despite him just being a few feet away in our bathroom. He was working longer hours to escape the chaos at home. Chaos that was largely due to our son's ADHD symptoms. And today, I'm here to share with you a guide, a lifeline really, that pulled my family back from the brink. If you're struggling with how your child's ADHD symptoms are affecting your marriage or your relationship with your partner, then this video is definitely for you. I'm also going to share 2 free printables with you, so make sure and stick around for those as well. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that now to stay updated on all things ADHD. So back then, my marriage was on very rocky ground, not because of the lack of love or the lack of commitment, but due to the relentless pressures of managing our son's ADHD symptoms. And it felt like we were just constantly in this crisis mode, and our relationship bore the brunt of that stress. I'm wondering if you're listening today and you're thinking to yourself, yes, that's exactly where I am right now. Just give this video a like or leave me a comment if you can relate. It was during one particularly overwhelming evening that we realized something had to change. We couldn't keep letting our son's ADHD drive a wedge between us. And that moment marked the beginning of our journey towards understanding ADHD better and finding natural, effective ways to manage his symptoms. And reflecting on our own experiences, I understand why some fathers and mothers for that matter might check out at home. Many parents want their home to be their safe place, their sanctuary. And ADHD can make it feel like the opposite of that. The pressures of parenting a child with ADHD can be immense. And without the right support and knowledge, it can feel really isolating and really overwhelming. So if you're in the same spot as I was years ago, with a husband or partner that is totally checked out at home, I want to give you some things that I think can help. Number 1 is open communication, really creating a space for open dialogue about the struggles and the feelings. It's absolutely crucial. It was only when my husband and I started talking openly and honestly about our feelings that we actually began to heal. Number 2 is seeking support. We found that reaching out for help, be it through support groups, through therapy, or educational resources, was absolutely invaluable. And that's actually one of the main reasons I created my free ADHD parent support group on Facebook. Now, if you haven't joined that group and you're the parent of a child with ADHD, go and join that today. I've added the link to that video description so you can finally find it easily. Number 3 is involvement in solutions. Actively involving my husband in our son's care strategies made a significant difference. It brought us closer and made us a stronger team. But the truth is, sometimes it can be really hard to know how to talk to your partner about the strategies you want to try to support your kids. And what if they don't agree with those natural approaches? What if they think medication is the only way? Now, that's why my team and I put together a free download, How to Talk to Your Partner About Naturally Reducing ADHD Symptoms. We actually made one for families who are currently using medication, and we made another one for families who are not using medication. And these printables give you a script to make this conversation just a little bit easier. I've added both of these links to the video description, so look for them there if this is something you think would be helpful for your family. I want to give you a bit of a sneak peek of one of those scripts. And this script would be for families who are currently on medication but would like to try more natural strategies. I've added my son's name to this script. And again, you can get this script as a downloadable in the video description below, and you can change it. You can adjust it as you see fit. So this is kind of how I start with it. We've been seriously struggling with Oliver's ADHD and all the challenges that arise from that. And we've tried so many things to get off this emotional roller coaster. And so far, we haven't found anything that's really working. And I've learned from experts in the field about the side effects of medication, but also there are natural strategies that can be just as effective and sometimes even more effective. So I would really like to try these natural strategies. Medication isn't cheap. I even saw one study that said the average annual cost to families of kids with ADHD is over $14,000 per kid per year, if you include your doctor's visits, therapy, coaches, evaluations, and medication. And that is actually 5 times the cost of raising a neurotypical child. Plus, from what I've been reading, medication isn't going to be an easy path long-term either. There could be side effects that we have to deal with, dosages changes that we're going to have to change as Oliver will get older. It's also possible for a medication that once worked to stop being effective. So I've found some strategies that I believe are going to be better for our family in the long run. One of the main drivers of ADHD symptoms is inflammation in the body. And in order to get control over Oliver's symptoms, we have to reduce the inflammation in their body. And to do this, we may need to change the diet. We may need to make other changes at home as well. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but doing these natural things will be so much better for all of us in the long run, and it will save us money. We will all be healthier, we'll all be happier, and it will last way longer. Now, I'd really like to give it a try. I know you want our home to be a peaceful place. I do too. Making these changes will help us achieve that. I know you're busy, so I'll take on most of the load with these changes, but I will need you to stand with me as a united front for Oliver. If I change our diet, don't let them cheat on junk foods. Are you willing to give this a try? So that was an example of one of those scripts that if you're using medication on how you can talk to your spouse. These scripts don't have to be read word for word, but they'll give you an idea of how you can talk to your partner to get on the same page with you. And again, there is one for if your family is currently using medication and one for those not using medication. So to summarize, I've shared 3 tips so far. Communicate openly, get support, and get on the same page about changes that are needed. I've got 5 more tips coming your way, so stick around. Number 4, as a team, set clear house rules. If you and your partner set up the house rules together, there will be less opportunity for conflict to arise later on. Remember, even if you don't agree on everything as far as parenting goes, you guys are on the same team. It's really important to keep that in the front of your mind. Your partner might not agree with you about strategies, but they are on the same team and likely have the same goals as you, to have a happy and to have a healthy family. Tip number 5 is a consistent bedtime for your child. Having a consistent bedtime routine for your child with ADHD, it has so many benefits. It helps with your child for sure, but it also helps the parents. By having consistent bedtime, parents are actually giving themselves time together as a couple on a regular basis. Tip number 6, prioritize time for you guys as a couple. Having a child with ADHD can be all-consuming. It can completely take over family life. One key way to keep your relationship with your partner strong is to prioritize it. Having that bedtime routine for your child helps, but there are other things you can do as well. Go on dates if possible. Take mini getaways if your schedule and finances allow. Have a time each day for daily check-ins. Tip number 7 is listen first, always. There will be conflict in any relationship, but having a child with ADHD pretty much guarantees it, unfortunately. The key to working through conflict in a healthy way is to listen first. There's an old saying that is definitely worth repeating. We have two ears and only one mouth for a reason. I absolutely love that saying. Listen more, talk less. Such a simple thing to do, but it's so hard to do sometimes. Tip number 8, make sure you are taking care of you as well. You know that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup? It's very true. And unfortunately, when we aren't taking care of ourselves individually, it can lead to more stress in the home and conflict between the two partners. So one of the best things you can do for your relationship with your spouse or partner is to take care of yourself. For many parents of kids with ADHD, self-care often falls to the bottom of the to-do list. I know because I'm a mum of a kid with ADHD, and for years, I put myself last. I paid for that mistake as well with anxiety attacks, extreme exhaustion, and that constant feeling of overwhelm. Now, finally, I learned how to better take care of myself. And when I did so, my marriage also improved. So there you have it, guys. 8 tips to help strengthen your relationship with your partner so that ADHD does not tear it apart. I hope this video has been helpful. Make sure and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss out on future videos. Bye for now.